Hi, I'm Paul Gray. Come explore Alaska with us and discover the diversity of its cultures in the land of the people of the far north. We'll travel 13,000 miles of roads to more than 500,000 square miles of Alaska wilderness. From tundra to mountains, oceans, villages, and towns, from art to wildlife, glaciers to thousands of miles of rivers and lakes, Alaska, a place that breeds discovery.
Flight is boarding. The flight is boarding. Come with us and explore the enticing mysteries of Alaska. Today's flight on Air Aviation is departing from Anchorage. We could be going to Cordova, Homer, Valdez, Kenai, or anywhere. Right now we're off to, look at the beautiful island, the sparkling bays and clear blue waters beneath us. Shamai, which means hello. Welcome to Kodiak. Kodiak is often referred to as Alaska's Emerald Isle. Its recipe is a maritime climate and generous amount of rain, creating a lush green forest in the summer and moderate winter temperatures. Winter's a mixed bag, snowstorms and freezing rain. It's a climate one can embrace as it creates and feeds Kodiak's lush and impressive beauty. Kodiak Island is 3,500 square miles. It's huge. It's the second largest island in the United States. Hawaii is bigger, just a little bit. But Kodiak is the largest island in Alaska. At the northeastern tip of Kodiak Island, the city of Kodiak, about 250 miles south of Anchorage, serving as the major supply hub. 10,000 years ago, glaciers scored and molded the landscape, covering most of the island. Jagged peaks, fjord-like bays, and wide U-shaped valleys were left by the glacial retreat. What Ma Nature left for all of us to see and enjoy is a place of spectacular beauty. A wilderness engulfs towns and villages. An environment ideally suited for land, sea, and marine life amidst wild, lush green vegetation carpeting the terrain, while clear blue water frames this Emerald Isle. The Kodiak area is also the main gateway into the Kodiak National Wildlife Refuge and has a number of state parks. Everyone who comes to Kodiak, or Alaska for that matter, wants to see at least one bear, and on Kodiak Island, one expects to see a massive Kodiak brown bear. A Kodiak brown bear is the largest of all the brown bears in Alaska. A cousin of the grizzly bear, it is speculated that the Kodiak size is due to a shorter hibernating season and diet. But to see a Kodiak brown bear is not like a trip to the zoo. The Kodiak National Wildlife Refuge, where most bears reside, is roadless. Access into the park is by charter plane or boat out of Kodiak or one of the villages located around the island. In Kodiak City, just about every air charter company offers a bear viewing flight. Length of the flight and number of times you land vary from one tour to the next, with some lasting 90 minutes, some are half-day excursions. However, if you ever see a Kodiak brown bear from the land or even from the air, it will be an experience etched in your mind forever. The Alutiiq Museum is another must-stop. The Alutiiq Museum, an archaeological repository, opened to the public on May 13, 1995. The museum collects and preserves archaeological and archival materials from the Alutiiq Nation in a repository dating back as far as 7,500 years that is accessible by the public. The organization supports research on Alutiiq culture and history and disseminates results through exhibits, publications, and other presentations.
In 1867, Alaska was sold to America. Well, in that, between 1867 until about 1910, we were left alone. We pretty much had our traditions. They had the language. We had the semi-subterranean houses. But about 1900s, that again changed. Sheldon Jackson came in, and he started implementing English-only policy. You can only speak English. You are going to be Americanized, and that's what you're going to do. That was the turning point, I think, for us having our traditional knowledge still maintained, being lost. When you go and tell somebody, oh, you're stupid, you don't know anything, you speak a funny language, or you look funny, you have to look like me, you undermine anybody's self-esteem. You undermine how they perceive the world. Like, my mom's fluent in Alutiiq. My father wasn't, but he understood it, but they chose not to speak Alutiiq because they wanted me to speak good English so I can adapt. Yeah, that's fine. Everybody wants that for their kids, and that's important. At the same time, The damage that was being done is continuing to be done by them forcing us not to speak our language. That's just like a key component for basically exterminating or trying to destroy the culture. But the irony behind that is you can't do that because of where we live. We still have our land. We still have our traditions. Even though, yeah, we have Orthodox faith now, a lot of our traditional beliefs have been involved into the church. And we still have a sense of identity. And Old Harbor is one of the strongest communities with that. When you're talking about Old Harbor natives, you're talking about all of Kodiak Island. For example, out in Taganak Point, you have a site that goes back 7,500 years. So you're talking about the earliest occupational site found on Kodiak Island so far. From that time period on, which they call Ocean Bay, which is from the Ocean Bay site on Sikalitic Island, Ocean Bay 1, Ocean Bay 2, Kachemak, Kodiak, and then present. And these are the time phases that our culture went through. And if you look at the archaeological record, you find that they went from small single huts to semi-subterranean houses to multiple room semi-subterranean houses. And the population increases probably from a few hundred to anywhere from 15 to 20,000 at the time of Russian contact. The key things for me that make Alutiiq, the Alutiiq, or the Sukhbiat, who we are, the Sukhbiat people, different is we're an islander, like the Aleutian Islanders. However, we had the largest population of what everybody would call linguistically, or just from a term, Eskimos, largest Eskimo population in the world at the time of contact, over 15 to 20,000 people. And that's a lot for an Eskimo population. We are whale hunters. We hunted whales. We processed and utilized everything in our resources, from fish to halibut to bear. The main events start in 1867 when Shelikoff came, and he conquered at the site of Refuge Rock. Awawak is the real name, which means to be numb. That changed our destiny in terms of we had control over Kodiak. Russians up until that time would come in, but then they would leave because we would chase them off the land. We were too organized. That's why they brought cannon, that's why they brought muskets to take over Kodiak itself. If you look at what happened during the Russian contact, it's amazing that we are still here, because the initial contact, within 20 years, we lost 15,000, at least 15,000 people. By 1867, when Alaska was sold, there was only 2,000 left. Alutiiq culture is traditions, and in that it's tied to language. I think language is the key point for a lot of the culture. Out of that is being able to live in your area. And then also, for example, when I'm in Old Harbor, because I grew up in Old Harbor, I know where to go get fish, I know where to go get seals, I know where to go get berries, I know where to go get wood for banya. I know where all the resources are, and that's traditional knowledge. We might not think of it as being traditional, but that's knowledge that's passed on for the last 7,500 years, based on what people have been utilizing from our area. And in that, so it's material culture, language, traditions, and the ability to maintain living where you are. I wish that we could keep our language, and I would like to challenge people to say, look, I'm going to volunteer to make sure that our language isn't lost, because once they start to look at the world through a different language, you think differently. You understand the world a little bit better by speaking another language. And I think if we spoke both Alutiiq and English, that's great, because we'll speak two languages, but we'll also speak a language that has been here for 7,500 years. For us, we're lucky because we still have our land. And in a way, we still have our language, which if we get our grants, and we get the support we can get, we'll still have it. But I think the thing that has kept us the strongest and helped us as individuals is we come from Kodiak. Our ancestors go back 7,500 years. And I think having that knowledge, no one can ever take that away from you. I know where I came from, and a lot of people don't think about it, but in a way that there's a sense of pride. Not arrogance, but pride in terms of, yeah, I'm from that village, and it's a wonderful thing.
Check out our website at exploringalaska.com.